Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee meeting of Wednesday, July 15th to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Denzel Anton McCampbell.
Present.
Councilmember Letitia Johnson. Councilmember Mary Waters.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That'll move us on to the approval of the minutes. Members of the committee should have received the minutes from the July 18th, to July 8th, 2026 meeting. And with that, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
It's been a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. That'll move us on to chair remarks. I would just say we are yet again in another heat wave, so please do. I know there's cooling centers that have been activated once again, so please do check on your neighbors and do stay cool, and also try to limit as much exposure to the heat as possible, and including pets as well. If you have any pets outside, it would be good to make sure that they are sheltered and have water, and bring them inside if possible. With that, that'll move us on to public comment. But before we move to public comment, if Madam Clerk, if you can note that we've been joined by Vice Chair Johnson.
Clerk will so note.
Thank you so much. That'll move us on to public comment. Request for public comment will close at 1:15. Please limit your remarks to 2 minutes. We'll start with folks in the room here and then move on to those who are joining us virtually. If you are joining us virtually, please do use the raise hand feature, and you will be called in order. With that, seeing no folks currently in person, how many folks do we have on Zoom so far?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We currently have 6 hands raised.
All right, let's go to our first speaker.
All right, our first speaker is Owner Papa.
Ms. Hughes, good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, and through the chair, may I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. 5.5 on your agenda is for a feasibility, a fiscal statement of something that says that these NEZs are helping our community, and I tell you unequivocally they are not. 6.5 and 6.6 on your agenda should be tabled. Anything calling for new NEZs should be tabled until we have the answer to if they are, and how much are they robbing the general fund. 5.2 would be a no. I don't think that we should move thousands of dollars from Detroit at work to move it over to help restaurant owners and train their employees. We used to have a health department, Herman Kiefer, that used to house all of our, and now you have a memorandum asking the health department to ask some very crucial questions of the infant mortality rate that is extremely high. Black infant mortality rate is more than that in a national average. It is a shame to be called a society where we're not third world to see these numbers. And 6.4, it is a diversion of funds again. I think it's a shame that we would even suggest we had HUD funds that could even be in danger of going back with all the problems that we have. And Councilwoman Johnson, you have a lot of NEZs on your agenda tomorrow. I would hope that after yesterday's revealing of what is really going on with these departments, especially the HRD, please reconsider what Mr. Todd and Mr. Gulak are putting before you. They have to do their research, and you do too.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Betty A. Varner.
Ms. Varner, good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Chair, and to all within the sound of my voice. I'm Betty A. Barner, President of the DeSoto Ellsworth Black Association. What I'm going to talk about at this time, I know the council has no control, but you might have a rapport or with someone at DTE, and you might want to mention this. there is an issue. There's seniors and just residents who are blessed to have air conditioning in their homes, but they don't want to use the air between the hours of 3 and 7 because DTE has this as peak hours, and they are charging much more for the air conditioning. I'm not going to quote, I think it was 30 or 40% more for those peak hours. That creates havoc for seniors who are on a fixed income. They're putting out these alerts about the heat, and DTE is doing certain things. I've received emails from DTE where they're passing out water and they're doing other things to try to accommodate and help residents be comfortable in their homes. They need to waive the costs that they are charging people during those peak hours when there is these heat alerts. People don't want to use the air because it wreaks havoc and they cannot afford it when it's time to pay for it. So if you have any connects with DTE, please mention that. DeSoto Ellsworth Black Association, we're still looking for volunteers for our event that's August 1st. It's going to be a family fun filled day. We need help with our tents set up.
Thank you, Ms. Varner. Next speaker,
Our next speaker is Black Bag.
Mr. Crowley. Good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Hey, Mrs. McCampbell, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm listening to this BOPC meeting on the other phone, but y'all, Mr. McCampbell, you don't know me, and I'm real. I got that nickname at 17 years old in the backseat of a black limousine downtown Detroit. But I'm also young blood from the Brewster Projects. Now, I don't lie. I got a 46 now year reputation in and around Detroit of being stand up 100. They call me a Detroit legend, legendary Detroiter, because I'm young blood from the Brewster Projects in 1980. Real from the backseat of that black limousine, and I'd have busted the Detroit Department of Elections. Cheating in Detroit elections, and Janice Winfrey, who won 6 elections in a row, supposedly, is a cheat and a liar. She said she sent you the findings on not you wasn't there. The other council person that was there in your position sent them the findings on the allegations of voter fraud by anonymous citizen report. Now, I know it didn't get sent because I called every member of council, the mayor's office. Michael Edward Duggan was the mayor, and the law department. Conrad Malik Jr. was the general corporation counsel for the city, and he was sitting right beside her when she lied at that Detroit Election Commission meeting on April 25th, 2024. Go on Zoom. It's on Zoom. You can view it, and I'll tell the truth. And I'm Black Bag.
Thank you. Before we go to the next speaker, just to note that request for public comment has been cut off. Who's our next speaker?
We have 4 hands remaining, and our next caller is William M. Davis.
Commissioner Davis, good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. Could I be heard?
Yes, you can.
I was wondering, I know that the governor and the president approved some funds to help with some of the storms we had, especially on July 3rd. Do you know the process? And do you know, like, take my backyard, I have big, huge branches falling, that's fallen, and I can't even use my backyard. The tree, the branches are so heavy, I can't pick them up, or my son can't pick them up. So they need to be cut up and removed. So do you have any information on the funds that might be available or assistance that we can get? And not just my house, which is bad. But up and down the streets, there's a lot of tree debris that don't seem to be being moved. And some streets over here I still drive down and I still see fallen trees that's blocking sidewalks and stuff. So I think we need to do a little bit more and see what funds is available. Hopefully the city can do it or the city could get federal funds, but we need some assistance over here. And hopefully you could help to facilitate that. Also, I think we need to do more to encourage more people to vote. We need to have a major voter turnout because we are fighting against the forces of evil. So those are my comments. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. So on the emergency declaration, that declaration was for the storms back in April, I believe, that the president just approved. I did speak with the administration on any type of declaration on the storms that we experienced over the 4th of July weekend, and it appears that it didn't reach the threshold to request that. So still trying to see what can be done, but I do know that if there, as you mentioned, the right-of-ways and sidewalks are being blocked, that is supposed to be and will be picked up by GSD and DPW. If there are specific places, if you can just send us a note if you haven't already on where they are. But I know we've been in contact around your backyard and still trying to figure out options there as well. But I do agree that there should be more resources available when these storms do happen for folks. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Jadante Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. May I be heard?
Yes, you can.
I just want to start off by saying I apologize to you, Councilman McCampbell. I was talking to you about Marvin Walker, Detroit Power Detroit, and about them getting a Detroit Land Bank community partnership. Please do not give them anything. They're guilty as charged. It's everything that they've been alleged. I believe they've done. I believe I've been bamboozled and using my good name to further yourself and you're doing improper things. I don't believe in that. So I'm going to say publicly, very, very, very publicly, do not give them a community partnership. And if you do, I want you to look at you sideways, look at the administration sideways. And so I know I did speak highly, not highly necessarily, but I did ask about them on their behalf. But that's before I had all the information that I have currently. And I believe that I was a victim of a fraudulent individual and organization trying to wrap themselves around good people in the community to try to further their I don't even have a word to describe the amount of improper things that they've done. So I want to speak on that. Also, when it comes to real token, I don't know what the city of Detroit is doing with real token properties. There are hundreds of residents all around the city for 18 months have had no type of property maintenance being done to their properties or their rental units. And so for the last year, there's been ongoing lawsuits. And the building that I'm helping with on 7 Mile is not the first building. It's not the only building. It's the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these properties. We just bent over to Munoz Realty and gave them the sweetheart deal of a lifetime for 400 properties. And they're doing all types of improper things, charging people for water, even though they're straight piping water. And us regular residents are having issues. We're having to deal with BC and blight and this and that. I have a sinkhole in the corner of my block. I'm going to keep talking about it. It's a giant hole. Can't get it patched up. Administration, I don't know what we got going on. We got all of these different things that are happening and improper acts in the city of Detroit. I think we need a lot of reform. Also, Conrad Mallett needs to be fired. David Whitaker needs to be fired. I don't know what CPC is doing. They're horrible. Also, Kronos Concrete needs to be shut down. We need downs on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And just for the record, our office has not endorsed any community partnership, just for folks to know. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Wisdom Institute.
Good afternoon. You have 2 minutes. Wisdom Institute, are you there? Wisdom Institute, are you there? If you can hear us, you'll have to come off mute. All right, let's put them in the queue and go back to them at the end.
Then our last speaker, before going back to the queue and noting that one hand was raised after you cut off public comment, is Brenda Butler.
Ms. Butler, good afternoon. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Campbell. On agenda item 6.4, I would like to know, as a Community Advisory Council member elected for District 4, if I can get a written report on those programs that funding has not been spent on and whatever reallocations that the council or HRD is planning to reallocate those funds, is that possible that I could get a written report?
Ms. Butler, before you answer, I'm going to allow you to fulfill all your time before you answer, if you have additional comments.
No, so just the additional comments would be, yes, I just need to know where those funds are, what were the names of those programs for that funding, and why it was not spent in the allotted time. And that's it for today. And I would like to meet with you. I understand you guys had a discussion last week regarding the CACs. So I'd like to get on your calendar so we could talk about the CACs. And thank you so very much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Yes, and my office did ask for guidance on rules for CACs because we had gotten questions from the District 7 CAC. So still having conversation on that, but happy to discuss. And for 6.4 on the reprogramming, we can certainly ask that folks when they come to the table on that agenda item. And just for folks to know, Ms. Butler, if you go on the website and view the agenda, the HTML agenda, you are able to view the resolution that goes into the line items that will be reprogrammed and what those items are going into as well. All right, that'll take us back to Wisdom Institute. If you are on and can hear us, please, you'll have to come off mute, and you have 2 minutes. Wisdom Institute, are you there? Okay. We do have to move forward in the agenda, but if you already have any technical difficulties, you can always submit your comment to the clerk's office. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for joining us and giving public comment. That'll move us on to the agenda under unfinished business. 5.1 is a substitute regarding a resolution concerning property tax rate reductions from LPD. Is there a motion to discuss? A motion to discuss. Mr. Corley, good afternoon. I just wanted to see if we had any updated language on this item.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Campbell and City Council members. So we do have the language, the substitute language from Councilmember Callaway's office. We made those changes, and but I know that the committee asked for a fiscal impact on this, and so we're working on that currently with the OCFO's office, and so we do ask to bring this back in 2 weeks.
Okay. Is there just to make sure the 2 weeks? That's it. All right. So we can. All right. Is there a motion to bring 5.1 back in 2 weeks?
Motion.
It's been a motion to bring back 5.1 in
Quickly, we'll be on recess in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we want to bring it back after that.
Got you. All right. Is there a motion to bring this back on September 9th?
Motion.
It's been a motion to bring back 5.1 on September 9th. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. Thank you. That'll move us on to 5.2, memo relative to the budget modification for Dining with Confidence program. We've been asked to bring this back on September 9th as well. Is there a motion?
Motion.
It's been a motion to bring back 5.2 on September 9th. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. 5.3, we have received this budget follow-up memo from the Health Department. Is there a motion to receive and file?
Motion.
It's been a motion to receive and file 5.3. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. 5.4, this is amendment to the city code regarding Auditor General awards. We've been asked to bring this back on September 9th as well. Is there a motion on 5.4?
Motion to bring line item 5.4 back on September 9th.
All right, there's been a motion to bring back 5.4 on September 9th. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. For 5.5, we have received this memo. This is relevant to the fiscal impact of the NEZ. Is there a motion to receive and file 5.5?
Motion.
Been a motion to receive and file 5.5. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. And for 5.6, we have also received this. Is there a motion to receive and file 5.6?
Motion.
A motion to receive and file 5.6. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. 5.7 is a memo relative to the data center tax revenue impact analysis. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Motion to discuss 5.7. Mr. Corley,
Chair?
do you need any update on this item?
Yeah, please bring back in a week. We should have this report out by this Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to bring back 5.7 in 1 week?
Motion.
Motion to bring back 5.7 in 1 week has been made. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. That'll move us on to new business from the Office of Contracting and Procurement. 6.1 is a resolution authorizing contract number 6001723, Amendment 5, for 100% city funding to provide an extension of time and an increase of funds for program provider services and transportation services of the Gold Line program. Contractor is Community Education Commission, located on Myers Road in Detroit. Previous contract period is September 11, 2018 through September 28, 2026. Amendment contract period was extended through September 28, 2027. Contract increase amount is $2,200,000, bringing the total contract amount to $8,200,000. This is for the OCFO. Is there a motion to approve or discuss?
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion to approve on 6.1. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. Moving us on to 6.2. This is contract number 6007745, 100% city funding to provide printing, mailing, and data processing for the Office of Assessors notices, property tax statements, and applications. The contractor is Wolverine Solutions Group, located on Clay in Detroit. The contract period is for 1 year. Contract amount is $225,000. This is for OCFO as well. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
There's been a motion to discuss. I believe we have Assessor Horn and Leonard Jones on with us.
Mr. Chair, if Assessor Horn could raise his hand, I don't see him in the list, but Leonard Jones is joining us.
Okay. Assessor Horn, if you can, raise your hand so we can promote you. All right. Okay. Well, we'll see if I know we have Mr. Jones here, so we'll see if we could get those questions answered. If you could just state your name for the record, please.
Yes, Leonard Jones, Supervisor in the Office of Contracting and Procurement.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. I just have a couple of questions. Just wanted to see on on this contract for. Just want to bring it up on here. As I'm looking at the the report on the contract, I see that the bid here was for 128,000, but the contract total is 225. So if you could just explain the 96K difference there.
Yes, that's the budget of that the office of assessors have planned for fiscal year 27, $225,000 as a budget. Um, so it's not to exceed, the contract is not to exceed 225,000. Although we did utilize equalization credits for Wolverine Solutions because they are Detroit-based, Detroit headquartered business, and they were the lowest responsible bidder, and their prices are captured in the contract for how much they're going to charge for each item that the office assessors need to be printed. So the contract is really based off of the amount is based off of the budget, but then the pricing is based off of what they did bid, and they're locked into those prices for each item.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm not sure if, from my recollection, this is the first time. Usually, we may see that a contract says up to that amount. So, is the contract written for 225,000, or is it written for 128?
Through the chair, it is written for $225,000, not to exceed $225,000,
Okay.
and that's based on the office of assessor's annual budget
Okay.
for the printing. So they're really look at it as like a menu that they'll be ordering. We captured all of their numbers, their amounts for each item, and as we utilize those items, they will basically pay that price that they bidded on. Their total amount for all of our quantities came up to 128,000, but we really locked them in on the prices, so the prices won't go up for the next year for the items.
Okay. Got it. All right. And then also on the, I see we've been joined by the assessor. If you would like to come forward as well. Good afternoon. If you just want to state your name for the record, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Alvin Horn, Deputy CFO and Assessor for the City of Detroit.
All right, thank you. I don't know if you heard the question that I posed before. I know Mr. Jones gave an answer, but just so you know, I had asked about the contract being for 225K, but the bid coming in at 128K. So I was just asking about the difference in the 96K there. But the answer that I got was that it is up to 225K because that is the budget amount. But just wanted to see if you wanted to add anything to that.
That is correct, sir. It is up to that amount. There are other items that the assessor's office adds to the assessment notice, and that's the bulk of what that contract is for, the city's assessment notices. For example, they're actually printing 3 different languages. Mm-hmm. There's some consideration to doing it in Bengali this year as well. There are some other things that we've been asked to add to that assessment notice. So we prepare a sum that we put to the side to cover those other things. So it usually is a little bit more than what is in. We're certainly not spending money that hasn't been appropriate, so I want to make clear about that. It's funding that we have in our office, but there are things that are added to the assessment notices that we take that other funding to cover.
Got you. Thank you. And another question on that, just so for folks to know, on the reason why we add translation, so one, that folks can understand what their government is communicating to, but is this also a part of our language access ordinance? And is this part of that, connected to that?
It is connected to it, yes, sir. Several years ago, this honorable body actually asked the assessor's office, would it be possible to start seeing some of those city notices out in Spanish? And we investigated it and made sense. We worked with Creole and some of our partners. And for the last several years, I believe 5 years, the The assessment notices and almost every other mailing from the assessor's office goes out in English, Arabic, and Spanish.
Gotcha. And one thing I would add to that is that we have gotten feedback from community members that quite a few folks speak French as well. So if you all could look into that. I don't know if you've gotten any feedback on that, but just wanted to lift that up.
We've gotten feedback from both French and English.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Any other questions, Vice Chair Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon. I do have a brief question relative to the property tax statement. So the property tax statements just recently went out. Are you not required to translate any portion of the property tax statement or bill that actually goes out? I know I've seen the assessment that is translated into other languages, but the property tax bill itself?
Through the chair, ma'am, the property tax bill itself is the responsibility of the Office of the Treasury, not the assessor's office. We prepare the valuations, but we don't prepare the bills.
Got it. Thank you. So we'll ask the Treasurer's office.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Member Waters, any questions? Okay. All right. I think that's all on my end. Is there a motion to approve 6.2?
Motion.
Been a motion to approve 6.2 to send to formal with a recommendation to approve. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. That'll move us on to 6.3. This is a resolution authorizing contract number 6007928 100% CDBG DR funding to provide internal auditing services. The contractor is Title Basin Government Consulting LLC, located in Utica, New York. Contract period is for 1 year. Contract amount is $80,030. This is for the OCFO. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
It's been a motion to discuss 6.3. I believe we have, well, let me just make sure. Who do we have on for 6.3?
Through the chair, we have Terry Daniels on.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Good afternoon. If you could just state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. Terry Daniels, Deputy CFO, Director of Office of Development and Grants.
Thank you, Deputy CFO. Thank you for joining us. I just have a question here. I'm looking at this. We did not receive any Michigan-based or Detroit-based firms for this, or bids for this?
I will defer to OCP for that. Tidal Basin is an auditing agency that specifically specializes in disaster recovery type contracts. That is their specialty. But I will have to defer to OCP on any of the other applicants if they were locally based.
Okay.
Through the chair, we also have Elizabeth Johnson on.
All right.
Mr. Chair, they're being promoted now.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Elizabeth Ayana Johnson, Office of Contracting and Procurement.
Good afternoon, Ms. Johnson. I'm not sure if you heard the question, but just wanted to know if there were any Detroit or Michigan-based firms considered for this contract.
Of the 7 firms that submitted proposals for this opportunity, there were no Detroit-based firms. There was a firm that is from Michigan, and had CREO certification. But as Ms. Daniels indicated, we were looking for expertise in disaster recovery audits, and of the firms that we reviewed, Tidal Basin Governmental Consulting met all of the criteria that we were looking for.
Okay, thank you. And a question on, because I know this is to provide internal auditing services. Can you go into how, or either one of you go into how this contractor audit functions partner with the city's own Auditor General, given that the internal auditor title is being applied here?
To the chair.
Yes.
We are required by HUD statutes to have a internal auditor for any grant projects awarded under disaster recovery over $100 million. As you know, we received a grant from HUD last year for $346 million. So we're required to have this independent internal auditor specifically work on the DR project auditing, not only programmatic, but also
Deputy
DR.
WCFO, you cut out at the end there.
I'm sorry, my internet is a little shaky.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know where I stopped, but we're required to have these audits from an independent internal auditor, independent from the city.
Okay.
So our internal auditor, Auditor General, is still a part of the city. So this contract would be independent of the city.
Thank you. Any further questions? Vice Chair Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You did ask the question that I was going to ask as it relates to any local firms. Ms. Daniels, can you speak to the work that they will actually do? Will it essentially be them asking for information based on programs that have been set up utilizing CDBG DR, and they're evaluating that?
Through the chair to Councilmember Johnson. So yes, they will be auditing our standard operating procedures. They will be selecting samples of payments that we make to contractors. So they are going to make sure that we are meeting all the criteria as outlined in HUD regulations, so that there are no findings, no waste, fraud, and abuse that have been identified. So it's really for our own protection, and the grant pays for it.
Thank you for that. And do they also work to ensure that how the city identified they were going to utilize the funds, that they're actually utilized for that?
They won't so much as look at how we came about our projects. That's something that the HUD field office would monitor us on, and how we selected our projects.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Member Waters?
So good afternoon. Just a quick question. What other cities or local municipalities have they worked with?
Through the chair to Councilmember Waters. This would be our second time around with them, but they work with state of Michigan. Mm-hmm. They also work with they work with FEMA headquarters. They've worked with many other states and localities in the country. Right now, they're doing a project in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Member Waters. Any further questions? All right. Is there a motion on 6.3?
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion to approve 6.3 and sent to formal with a recommendation to approve. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
believe Deputy CFO, you will be on with us for the next one as well. 6.4 is a resolution authorizing reprogramming amendment to the Community Development Block Grant (CDBG) annual action plan for fiscal years 2019 for 2020 and 2025 through 2026. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
It's been a motion to discuss, and I know we have the Deputy CFO and also Nicole Weiss, and do we also have Tamara Hardy?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Chair. Nicole Wise, Deputy Director for Office of Development and Grants.
Thank you. And
through the chair, this is Tamara Fontaine Hardy. I am the Director of the Neighborhood Services and Economic Development Divisions in HHFS.
Thank you, Director. And anyone else?
We have Warren Duncan.
Deputy Chair Warren Duncan. I am the Grants Manager for Office of Development and Grants.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. All right. For folks, I know we got a few questions during public comment, but if someone can just give a general overview on the reprogramming, what is being reprogrammed and where is it going?
Sure. Mr. Chair, I can start, and then if Director Duncan can assist me if I miss anything. But right now you're looking at funds from the Community Development Block Grant Program that are need to be spent by September 30th of this year. There are 6 items where funds were not spent and they need to be reprogrammed into activities that may be able to spend. To give a little bit of background, I know there was a question, public comment about where those items were coming from. As you can imagine, 2019, our 2019 program year, 2020 fiscal year, is when we were faced with the pandemic. And so at that time, this was prior to the city receiving any CARES funding in response to COVID activities. We worked with HUD to reprogram a substantial amount, I think around $6 million, to help fund some public service activities and some other activities to help serve our residents through the initial part of the pandemic. So pandemic started in March, and June is when we actually received our CARES funding. And at that time, a lot of the COVID activities that we began funding changed over to those CDBG CV funding sources. And so you see some balances here remaining from items that were identified during that reprogramming in an attempt to serve our residents in response to COVID. And then you also have 2 items. There's the Summer Jobs Public Service Program, and we have the Section 108 loans. You know, we have paid off our Section 108 loans and have no longer need the budget for the defeasance. And then the Summer Jobs Program that we fund a portion with our CDBG dollars. There is some additional requirements in order for us to fund the youth summer jobs, the GDYT program with CDBG, because it is a public service. And that includes that DESC works with at that time, staff in HRD, but now staff in HHFS, to identify local nonprofits in the NRSA areas so that they are eligible expenses. And back in 2019, the DESC and HRD started ramping up to try to identify CDOs to help CBDOs to help spend the funding, but in 2019 they did struggle to spend it all. It was they received 1.5 and there was 45,000 that we were unable to tie back to the NRSA area specifically. And so that is like a high level summary of where the funds are coming from. And we've identified the Piety Hill project as a project that will close in time for us to spend our funds. We need to be able to draw those funds in the beginning of September so that we can have them into the HUD system by the end of September for the deadline. And I'll turn it over to Warren or Tamara if you guys have anything else that you'd like to add. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything else? Okay. Any questions from members of the committee? Vice Chair Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon. Can you all help us understand the timing of this? This is fiscal year 2019-2020. So we still have the funds to be able to reprogram. Help us to understand that.
Yes. So, actually, Mr. Duncan, do you want to talk a little bit about the reprogramming process?
Yes, through the chair to Member Johnson. Yes, the reprogramming process is how we, based on HUD regulations, we have to reprogram funds through its process as have a 30-day comment period. And any county amendments, we have to advertise and get approval from council. And so these funds are sitting in our line of credit in our 2019. So the funds are available and that we identify. And so to get these funds spent, so we won't send any funds back to HUD, we perform this process as a reprogramming amendment.
Okay, so the community engagement process has already taken place. Can you help me to understand why these dollars have not been used prior to now?
Through the chair to Member Johnson, a lot of times what we do every year, since we have 7 years to spend it, we do a internal audit on items, balances that's left, and like Nicole explained to, like, things do happen where these funds have residual balances, and so every year we kind of look in our internal balances in our line of credit and a lot of the activities. We determine what funds are available, and so through this process, we try to reprogram items that have minimal balances left.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Wise did mention Section 108, which I understand those dollars have already been repaid, so there are dollars left. I understand the summer jobs program, so the other 4 agencies, so I don't know that they're agencies, but Focus Hope, Warren County Development Coalition, which is in District 4, and Neighborhood Legal Services, Wayne County, is there a reason that these entities would not be able to utilize the dollars for the continued work that they do?
Yes, through the chair to Councilwoman Johnson. So at this time, all of these contracts have expired and their purchase orders have been closed. So these entities are no longer asking or invoicing against the projects that they originally contracted for.
And did they have an opportunity to presumably apply for those dollars to be reallocated to programs that they currently do?
So my understanding, I'm sorry, through the chair to Councilwoman Johnson, of course, this is, it's been a while since we went through the COVID process, but again, my understanding is that a lot of these agencies were awarded in an attempt to assist with COVID-related activities. And so when we did receive the CDBG CARES funding, I think we received about $20 million that following June. The concentration of serving residents through CDBG was switched to CV, and a lot of these organizations saw CV contracts at that time. So if they didn't have, most of them are, they have, I think, 90 days from the end of their contract to spend any incurred funds during their contract period. And then for the public service NOF process, if there are reprogrammed funds going into that process, council would see them every year. The problem is that we are stuck at the cap every year, so it doesn't continue forward. Like we don't have 15% this year or this year. It's in 1 year, and so we have to be mindful when we're reprogramming dollars back into public services that we're not exceeding that cap.
Okay, and I believe my last question is still just trying to go back to how the Piety Hill project was selected to benefit from these remaining funds. Was there an NOF that was provided that folks, any of these entities may have applied for?
So the Piety Hill project is a development project. It goes through the Housing and Revitalization Department's NOFA, their Notice of Funding Availability. And so that would not have been a public service. That would have been for affordable housing. And what we're looking at for is in terms of spend timeline is identifying projects that we know can spend in time by September 30th, and Piety Hill is the project that will close, we're estimating in August, and they'll be able to immediately draw down the 419 for pre-development costs.
Okay, got that. So I think I'm having a bit of a challenge with the fact that they were public service dollars. At some point in time, they were shifted to affordable housing or whatever category you just mentioned. How is it that Piety Hill was awarded? There were other folks that bid on trying to access these dollars through the NOFA process?
So through the chair to Member Johnson, I think I understand your question. So we wouldn't have been able to add additional public service dollars into our budget this year because we're already at the max. So what we did was review projects that could potentially spend within the timeline that we had. As far as the selection of Piety Hill versus other affordable development housing projects, I know I'd see Rebecca LeBeau on, and she can answer some more specifics about Piety Hill.
Good afternoon. I'm Rebecca LeBeau of Housing and Revitalization. The Piety Hill project had applied through a competitive NOFA for affordable housing a couple of years back and is now ready to close. So there was already a CDBG award for that project. So the swap is essentially just using a different funding year given the expiration of those funds. So it was not sort of newly selected to receive CDBG for the affordable housing development.
So thank you for that. So that means that they had been awarded funding for a subsequent year, but they will not receive funding for a subsequent year. And instead, they're going to utilize the remaining funds from this 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Yes, that is correct. Through the chair, correct. That is correct. And in future reprogrammings, council will see, will make decisions on where those funds will be used.
The original allocation for Piety Hill.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Can someone help me to understand the shift, though, from public services to affordable housing? How is that determination made?
Through the chair to Councilwoman Johnson. So the determination is made off of, because of the expiration date on these funds and the public service cap. So those are the two critical things here. We can't add additional dollars into public services because we're already at our 15% cap. And we have to look at projects that will spend, and Piety Hill is already scheduled to close in August, which will help us meet our deadline for expenditures.
So within that, I understand the public service cap, but there are other categories where dollars could have been shifted, right?
Yes, but they would have to have spent in by the September date. So any other projects that would be able to use the funds would have to be able to demonstrate that they could spend those funds by the September 30th date.
Okay, and I assume HRD made the decision to shift it to affordable housing because they're aware of the project, the Piety Hill project, and they knew that they could spend the dollars by that deadline.
Yes, so this was a coordination, excuse me, I'm sorry, through the chair to Councilwoman Johnson. Yes, this decision was made looking at projects that are currently funded and which projects across HHFS and HRD that could spend CDBG dollars the quickest. And Piety Hill is the project that was able to spend within our timeline, just based upon need. And like Ms. LeBeau stated earlier, it's not adding funds to the project. We're just reducing their I believe it's 2021 funds, and those will come in a future reprogramming to go to other projects.
Understood. And I'm not picking on Piety Hill. I know the work that Central Detroit Christian does, and everything, the relationship that they have with the city. I'm just really trying to understand this, which is something that I think I've talked about on other projects. Something similar that came to us, I think we voted on last Tuesday, was how these opportunities are made available for other entities, right? So it sounds like there was a pre-existing relationship. I'm sure there are other relationships with service providers or organizations doing affordable housing. I just always come to the question of how anyone is selected to receive funds, or if there is another entity that perhaps is working on a project, trying to complete their project and could have utilized the funds. I get that, they were awarded for a future year, and we're trying to ensure that we're not sending any dollars back to the federal government. I'm just wondering how many other entities may be in progress with a project that may be looking to conclude that project, but may need those resources sooner than later so the project can close and be done, and how we go through the selection process or to identify which entity receives these reallocated dollars.
Yeah, through the chair, a project that was not already in our pipeline, having gone through an application and been scored and selected by the committee, and in this case, this project has even been previously approved by council for that funding. Any other project would not have the time to come in through our application process, because we don't want any kind of selection of funding for projects to be discretionary. It still comes through the competitive process for affordable housing, and so we don't have an open NOFA right now. They're open in January and July, and so any project that we recommend to City Council for affordable housing funding has already been through that process, and it's not fast. We're not a good last minute funding source for anybody working on a development project, given that after they receive our award, they'll have to go through environmental review and assemble all of their other funding sources, get all of their permits and approvals. So typically, we're not able to come in at the last minute to kind of help a project get over the finish line. But we would certainly encourage anyone who is listening to this and has a development project to consider our next NOFA, which is going to be open at the end of July, and we'll be doing a new round of scoring for anybody looking to develop and preserve affordable housing.
Thank you for that, and I apologize if I didn't clearly articulate understanding what you just stated. My question is more along the lines of, so we've had NOFAs that have been awarded since 2020, fiscal year 2019-2020, right? So we have folks that may be lined up that are in progress doing projects who I guess we could have determined in communication with them that they could have utilized the funding to complete a project sooner than an award year where they've received funding. I, again, am just trying to understand whether it's an affordable housing project or any other category that CDBG funds, if there were other entities that could have benefited from utilizing these dollars and how the selection process was. But anyway, all right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. Appreciate that. Member Waters?
Yeah, I hear you, Member Johnson. You kept trying to pull it out. I understand. So thank you for all of your detailed questions, because I was thinking the same thing. Perhaps there could have been more due diligence done in order to determine whether other organizations would qualify for this project to receive those dollars. So, given that Member Johnson has gone way down that line, there's no need for me to go back down there. I just want to ask you, how do you plan to track this to ensure that Piety Hill spends it in a timely manner? I mean, I know you have a lot of projects going on at the same time. So how are we going to make sure, and we're giving it to them now, so how are we going to track it? How are we going to document it?
Sure. Through the chair to Councilmember Waters, we have weekly closing triage meetings for projects that have received awards from the city and are moving towards closing. We work with the law department to check up on the project status and address any issues that might arise during the last week. And then there are also closing calls that are going on with the developer and their other funders. So our underwriting team is tracking this project very closely and moving them towards their closing date, which right now is projected for August 15th. Mm-hmm. And following that, we'll certainly work in coordination with OCFO to get those dollars out timely.
I am curious, have you missed any deadlines in the past?
Through the chair to Member Waters, my understanding is no, we have not returned money in the past to HUD related to timely expenditures.
Okay, all right. Well, I like that. I appreciate that. Just one last question. Is it standard that those deadlines for HUD is generally when you receive those CDBG dollars? I get tongue-tied when I say it. Is it basically always 7 years, or sometimes longer, sometimes shorter? What's the standard time for spending
The
those
chair
dollars?
to Member Waters, for our regular CDBG funding, it is 7 years, but there are different timelines for other HUD funding. So, for instance, CDBG DR is a 6-year program, depending on the date of the grant agreement. But our regular CDBG has a program year that aligns with our fiscal years, and so it is 7 years from the beginning of that program year.
And how soon do you have to encumber those dollars once you receive them? I get that you're reprogramming these, but what's the timeline for when the dollars first come in? Can you just kind of walk us through that?
Through the chair to Member Waters, yes. So there's not a particular encumbrance deadline for each program year. What the driver is behind spend for CDBG is the timeliness test that we see every May 2nd. And this council often sees, in the past, they've seen reprogramming generally twice a year from HRD to move funds to programs that will likely spend faster to meet that timeliness test. What the timeliness test is that the city cannot have more than 1.5 times its annual allocation in its line of credit every May 2nd. So if you look at our annual allocation for this year, we cannot have more than 1.5 times that amount sitting in our line of credit. So there's always a need to, when we're identifying projects and working with project managers, understanding when they'll be able to encumber, how quickly they can spend, because as a team, everybody, is working responsibly to spend to meet that timeliness goal.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for explaining that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Member Waters. And just one last question for me, and you probably have covered it in somewhat, but just so I'm clear, thinking about the need when we do reprogram, I'm just thinking about when we get to 2020 and 2021, and the need to reprogram those dollars. I would assume that we have a view of what those dollars are currently. Is there a way that we could reprogram earlier in the year so that we could find more projects that may be able to spend by the end of September for 2027?
Yes, Mr. Chair, our team right now, our operations team, we just transitioned from HRD into OCFO, and that team is actually already looking at the 2020 numbers. And this council will likely see a reprogramming in the fall to help with some of those adjustments and especially for timeliness.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Is there a motion on 6.4?
Motion to approve.
It's been a motion to approve 6.4 and send to formal with a recommendation to approve. Any objections? Seeing none, the action shall be taken. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That will move us on to the agenda from the Office of City Clerk and City Planning Commission. Before we go to 6.5, is there a motion to remove 6.6? This is a duplicate. Motion. So a motion to remove 6.6 from the agenda. Seeing no objections, the action shall be taken. So for 6.5, this is a resolution authorizing the Neighborhood Enterprise Zone Certificate application for the construction of a new single-family house at 4128 4th Street in the Midtown Neighborhood Enterprise Zone area. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
All right, thank you. There's been a motion to discuss 6.5, and I believe we have Mr. Gulak on with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Gulak, CPC staff. We're also joined by the petitioner, Ted Whitten, who is on the screen as well.
All right. Mr. Whitten, if you can just introduce yourself for the record.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, fellow council members. My name is Ted Whitten, and my wife and I purchased the lot at 4128 4th Street last October, and we are in the process of designing and hope to have completed a new primary residence for us at that location by next June.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Whitten. Thank you for joining us. And I will turn it back over to Mr. Gulak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Permission to show a brief slideshow regarding the request?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, this is a city clerk forwarded to our office a NEZ certificate request, and we submitted a report with a resolution for your consideration. The property shown as the red dot on the screen, it's in the Midtown area on the east side of 4th Street between Alexandria and Willis, just east of the Lodge. Zooming in closer, this block has a lot of vacancy, but there's been quite a few requests to build new housing on this block. This shows the current block. I believe there's 3 other houses, separate requests being built on this block as well. This is in the Midtown NEZ, created by council back in 1999. That original request had 86 acres, and it's shown as this green box on the screen. This was to encourage the rehab and new construction of housing in Midtown. The property, as stated, is vacant. It's zoned 2-family residential. The petitioner is here today. He and his wife are proposing to build a new single-family house as their future primary residence. I believe the petitioner is relocating from California, but he could clarify that later. They selected a general contractor, Robert Orff, I believe is a Detroit-based contractor and owner of Wicklow Windows and Weatherization. The petitioner submitted some information. They want to construct a new single-family house with 2 stories, 4 bedrooms, and 3 bathrooms. And in our report, we give this table that they provided. It would be about 3,100 square feet. There'd be no basement, 4 bedrooms, and they indicate the cost to build is a little less than $700,000. Regarding parking, they would have a rear attached garage and a parking pad in the back accessed by the alley. And then lastly, regarding accessibility, they indicated that although it's a single-family house, the petitioner indicates the proposed house is ADA compliant. The first floor has a bedroom and full bath that are wheelchair accessible. The The petitioner's not installing an outdoor ramp. They indicate one could easily be added. And they did submit some plans. This shows the site plan for the project. It's a long rectangular box. This shows the front of it. The architect is 3 squared, I believe. They're also proposing some energy saving features as well. You can see there is one step up here, the front, at the front of the house. This shows the side with the windows. And then there's a deck on the back, I believe. And so staff has confirmed it is in an NEZ zone. Staff has recommended approval and a resolution submitted for your consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And Mr. Witten, would you like to add anything further?
Yeah, just maybe perhaps the reason why we're moving and purchase a lot. We live currently in California, but our son and daughter-in-law are residents of the city of Detroit, and they just had their first child, our first grandchild, and we are moving as we're getting ready to retire to the city to be close to family.
Oh, great. Well, congratulations on your first grandchild.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions from the committee? No questions? Remember what?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so thank you. What about energy efficient features?
Yes, Councilman. We are using 3 squared, and we selected them as the architect because that's their specialization. So the construction of the house has got passive solar heat. It's designed to maximize light and solar benefits during the winter and shade during the summer months. The walls are highly insulated as well as the windows, so it'll be very energy efficient construction.
That's nice. I like
Yeah.
that. I could probably use that in mine. So how long you plan to reside in the home?
We plan to move in, if it's ready, by June 1st of 2027, and that will be our only residence, and we'll be living there full time.
Okay, for a long period of time or short?
Like I said, this is our retirement home.
Oh, retirement.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and we are, our family's not looking to leave Detroit, so we want to be there close.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Member Waters. And I would just wanted to, I don't have any further questions. I would just say thank you for considering ADA, being ADA compliant, and also considering first floor bedrooms and bathrooms there as well. I think Vice Chair Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And congratulations on your grandchild, Mr. Witten.
Yeah.
I am curious to know, does your family live in this community that where you'll be building the house?
They currently rent in Woodbridge. Their intentions, they're still saving money. They're young, but they intend to either buy a home or buy a lot to build at some point when they've got the wherewithal to do so.
Got it. And I am curious about the one step. Is there a reason that you didn't have it just be a ramp that you could just walk into, where you can just walk right into the house, especially since there is no basement?
Yeah, it's really for considering drainage and everything. We do get some severe storms. Sorry, I'm a civil engineer by background, so I can't help go there. So it's pretty common to have a few inches between ground surface and the first floor for that reason. But that is not a challenge that can't be easily overmounted by installing a ramp at some future point. And that would apply to not only the front step, but from the garage into the main floor of the house.
There's a step
Yeah.
in the back. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just
Actually,
curious.
no, I'm sorry. It would be from getting into the garage, but you could actually take a wheelchair directly from the garage into the house without a step.
Got it. Okay. All right, thank you for that. And I totally understand about the drainage and making sure that everything is sloped away from the house and nothing going towards the house. I also injured my knee earlier this year and had difficulties walking up and down the stairs in my house. And so we have a resident who calls in frequently who talks about any of us could become disabled at any time. And it's something, once I injured my knee, it's something that I've started to think about even in my own home. And so the mayor has a vision to build 1,000 homes in within the next 4 years, and I really truly am advocating that they be ranches with zero step, just because you never know when you may become disabled, and it's a lot easier to add components inside of the house than it is for the structure of the house. And so I was just curious to know why you had even considered the one step instead of just a ramp that would slightly, raise to get you inside of the house without having to step up. I thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Member Waters.
I just want to say to Member Johnson, she is not the only one that's been advocating for ranch styles. We cannot, we must not put our seniors specifically in any more high rises. I just don't want to see any more built, period. So we are certainly on the same page there. There's two of us. What about you, Mr. Chairman?
I'm there with you too. I'm there too. No, I think I would say that as we are even thinking about the pre-approved concepts or the pre-approved plans, I definitely hope the administration is working on ranch styles for that as well. For that,
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Mr. Chair Johnson.
Thank you for that. And the reason I have suggested that, and I know we've had the accessibility conversation, and I know many times when projects come before this committee, we ask about accessibility. When I started to think about it and thinking about and looking at our infrastructure throughout the city, we have beautiful homes without a doubt. But when you think about how many ranches we have in the city, when you think about how you retrofit accessibility into houses, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. And so just even trying to provide for folks that have needs for accessibility today, because we're always trying to encourage developers or landlords who are rehabbing houses to do it now. I get that it's costly. So I think we need to just consider our entire population and make sure that we start with that.
Absolutely.
For these 1,000 houses. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a ranch, right? You could do a second story, but there certainly should be a bedroom and a bathroom on the main floor.
Absolutely.
So it was just thinking about what we currently have in the city, and it's difficult to find.
It is.
No arguments from me there.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. Thank you, Member Waters. I have no further questions on 6.5. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion to approve 6.5 and send to formal with a recommendation to approve. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. Thank you, Mr. Goulart. Thank you, Mr. Witten. Best of luck on your move to Michigan, and please do enjoy your grandchild.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Take care. All right. That will move us on to, we have removed 6.6 from the agenda. That'll move us on to items under miscellaneous. This is 6.7, a memorandum from Member Miller's office relative to the taxes owed on the Gaston Munoz property. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
It's been a motion to discuss 6.7. Mr. Corley, any update on anything that you need on 6.7?
Mr. Chair, so looking at the memo from Councilmember Miller, she's referring this to Corporation Counsel.
Gotcha.
Can I read my mallet?
All right, Attorney Hill.
Good afternoon to
Good
this
afternoon.
honorable body and to the chair. I believe that this was dated July 9th. If that is accurate, then it has been presented to the law department for review, and I'm waiting to see what updates they are going to provide in regards to that.
Yes. Would it be okay if we brought it back in 1 week?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to bring back 6.7 in 1 week?
Motion.
The motion to bring back 6.7 in 1 week. Any objections? Seeing none, that action shall be taken. And 6.8 is from Member Waters, a memo relative to the request for a list of grant opportunities for Detroit community organizations. Thank you for that. Is there a motion to this? Or I'll defer to you, Member Waters, but we've been asked to bring this back after recess on September 9th, but I'll defer to you.
Okay, motion.
The motion to bring back 6.8 on September 9th. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. 6.9 is also from Member Waters, a memo relative to the request for analysis of Speaker Hall's proposed property tax legislation. And is there a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Member Waters, I will defer to you and LPD on this one.
Okay, LPD. Mr. Chairman, through you.
Mr. Corley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the request was for LPD to provide an analysis on House Speaker Matt Hall's proposed property tax legislation. And as council may know, that legislation did not go through from the prior state of Michigan budget that was passed around July 3rd or so. And so that legislation has fell through. However, there's new legislation that's very similar. So Speaker Hall's property tax legislation was to eliminate the $6 million state education tax on all properties and repeal the state real estate transfer tax and eliminate the personal property tax on business equipment. Together, these would have created a hole in the school aid fund budget of around $4 billion. And that bill was to hopefully realize a $900 annual saving to the average Michigan homeowner. So that fell through. However, in June, House Bill 5873 was introduced, and this would again look to eliminate the $6 million state education tax and the state real estate transfer tax. It did not include repealing of the personal property tax. This would create about a $3 billion hole in this school aid fund. And so this bill, House Bill 5873, is tie-barred to House Bill 5880, and that would create a new 6% sales tax on targeted luxury, non-essential, and AI-related services. So it would be a service type situation where the 6% tax would be assessed to. And so, Mr. Chair, we can analyze, those bills since they just came out. And so if council wishes, if Council Member Waters could kindly give us a new memo asking us to analyze, if you wish, analyze House Bill 5873 and House Bill 5880, which again are very similar to Speaker Hall's proposed property tax legislation that did not go through from the budget process.
Do you show the name of the person who introduced this, please?
Yes. Representative Steve Frisbee.
Steve who?
Frisbee.
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Frisbee.
Frisbee. Republican.
Yep.
Okay.
On the west side.
All right, yeah. Okay, we'll do that, Mr. Corley.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Do we need to make a motion from the table or just?
Yeah, I'll make the motion, then I follow up with a
Okay.
memo.
All right. There's been a motion made to add analysis for House Bill 5873 and 5880 to this line item for 6.9. Any objections?
To amend it, I guess.
To amend it to add analysis for 5873 and 5880. All right.
Okay.
Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken, and Member Waters will follow up in written memo.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Through the chair,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
being that this will be added, it hasn't moved anywhere, so are we going to bring this back in a week
All
or two?
right. Yeah. Okay. Is there, Mr. Crowley? How long do you think you need for, with that being amended?
Well, certainly after recess.
Yes, let's shoot for September 9th.
All right. Is there a motion to bring back 6.9 on September 9th?
Motion.
All right. There's been a motion made to bring back 6.9 on September 9th. Seeing no objections, that action shall be taken. Thank you. All right. Now move us on to member reports. Member Waters?
No report.
No report. Vice Chair Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to share with District 4 residents that we do have a Wellness Expo coming up on Saturday, July 25th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Samaritan Center, the Wellness Center at 5555 Connor Street. We are collaborating with two organizations within the district to make sure that we're bringing health and wellness to our residents, meeting them where they are. We're going to have a fun time, a good time, and also make sure we're on top of our wellness. So we will be collaborating with Destined for Greatness, as well as Redeem Detroit. So looking forward to having everyone come out Saturday, July 25th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the Samaritan Center's Wellness Center at 5555 Connor. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. And for myself, just a reminder for D7 residents that we will be having our monthly meeting next Thursday, July 23rd at 6 p.m. It will be virtual. We'll have folks joining us from the planning department to talk about the next steps in the master plan. And we'll also have folks joining us from the county and also DDOT to give education on the transportation millage as well. So please do join us if you would like to get information. If you have not seen the information, we've sent it out in our e-newsletter, but you can call our office at 313-224-2151 and we'll get you that information. All right, that's it for me. Seeing no further business before this committee, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Is there a motion to adjourn? And this committee stands adjourned. Thank you all.